Hey everybody, Jerry Reiner here with you again for episode 3 of Inside the Match, where I take you in depth, let you know what's going on throughout a few of my matches with some of my favorite opponents. And in this episode we've got the shooter Mike Jacobs, a guy who was a real natural talent in the ring from the get-go, trained by Black Sheep Danny Rowland. And I'll take a little bit of the credit for that, because while he was training I was also in the ring with him. I actually had his first match. It was a really good match. We're not actually going to watch that one in this episode. I've got a lot of Mike Jacobs matches. You can go to my playlist, 212 Jerry Reiner matches, soon to be 213 Jerry Reiner matches, and check that out. All those great matches with Mike Jacobs. But in this one we're going to concentrate on 3 that took place in the year 2000, actually within a couple of months of each other, 2 from July of 2000 and 1 from August, starting out in Pensacola, Florida with the American Wrestling Federation. And my memory's a little hazy. I don't quite remember who ran it. If I'm not mistaken, it was one of the Samoans, either Afa or Sika, but I know Bobby Dahl's PWA provided a lot of the talent for the event. But it took place in the National Guard Armory in Pensacola, Florida. We're going to get right into that. There you see the Lightning Kid Jerry Reiner in the ring, accompanied by Cato Storm, which was another Pensacola Wrestling Alliance student. He was a good little worker, a fellow babyface on the card. I can't really remember why he accompanied me to ringside, but there he is. And Cecil Roden, Sea-Dog, the referee there, a veteran official locally. But yeah, Mike Jacobs just picked it up from the jump. He was really excellent from the get-go. And of course, I've been talking about match structure and psychology. We're going to shine the babyface, and in this match I'm the babyface. Quick go-behind reversal schoolboy there. And there's a little bit of the heel shtick. Just great at interacting with the crowd too, Mike Jacobs, a longtime pro wrestling fan before he got started. He just took to it like a fish to water, and he and I had great chemistry just from the get-go. Another go-behind here. Showing a little mat wrestling prowess. There's a reversal. And again, I'm defaulting to doing play-by-play commentary. And I'll try to keep that to a minimum for you. Just some chain wrestling reversals here. But from the get-go, Mike really got ring positioning, pretty much every aspect of a match. Little drop kick there. He powders out, breaking the momentum. And like I said in the last episode, I think the year 2000 was probably my physical prime, as far as, you know, just being able to perform the moves athletically. And I've always said I've never been a great athlete, but for whatever reason I could, when I'm inside the squared circle, I could move around pretty well. Another funny little side note, at the time I had JerryReiner.com. I no longer have it, but Cajun Joe is at ringside, Eddie Joe. He's taking pictures for me. I asked him to take pictures for my website, and the entire time the camera wasn't on. So he's just walking around snapping pictures and doing absolutely nothing. There's a little Mahi Straw cradle action. You'll see in these 3 matches that Mike and I kind of we already had our little spots that we were comfortable doing together, and the ones that we knew worked well. And this is always good in the beginning for the heel to break the momentum of the babyface. I know nowadays with modern wrestling everybody likes it to, you know, go, 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 all action, but back then you could let it breathe. And I preferred that personally. There's Cajun Joe, walking around ringside with my camera that isn't on. Bless his heart. Snatching the headlock here. And I think we're going into the flying mare spot. Couple nice looking elbows there. And this is one of the ones me and Mike enjoyed doing together. Quick short drop kick. And here's some of that fast action. Coming right up here. Overhead reversal, regular reversal. Duck of the Cliz Liz. Oh, and one of my favorite cutoff spots as a babyface is going for the crossbody and having the heel duck out of the way. Because you're taking your own bump. It's pretty easy. It doesn't hurt a lot, but you can sell it. Action-oriented. And the shooter going right to the leg here, going right to the hold. In Mike's first bout, his first ever match in pro wrestling, we worked with each other for Danny Rowland at a little, just a little show in a parking lot of a video store. It was one of those, you remember I talked about, and I think it was in episode 1 about how the matches are done nowadays. They go spot for spot and they pre-plan everything from beginning to end. And we kind of did that with his first match because we had, I think, a good month before the event we knew it was going to happen, and because Danny ran the show. So we just kept going over stuff we wanted to do, and it's a really good match, but it's you know, planned out from A to Z. And sometimes I enjoyed that, especially back then I did. My views have changed over time as I got older, but back then I liked knowing everything beforehand. The only problem with it is maybe everybody can't tell, but really you're not in the moment because you're thinking of what's coming next as you're doing executing all your moves. And I don't know, I think it's more organic if you call it on the fly for the most part. Like I said last episode, just calling the opening, the cutoff, the comeback, and the finish. Oh, here comes one of my high spots I enjoyed. I never once in my career hit this on anybody because I would have killed them, I think. It was always a good hope spot. Probably a good reason that I need both hips replaced. Cecil Roden getting down for the cover there. And a nice heel rest spot. One of the critiques I have of a lot of, I don't know how I would describe it, baby faces who don't have a lot of experience will put a hold on during the babyface shine. That's for the heel to do during the heat, in my opinion. As a babyface, you want to be action-oriented. You want to be go, go, go in the beginning. For the most part. I guess it depends on what kind of babyface you are. Here's me posing for Cajun Joe's camera, and I mentioned that he didn't have the flash on. Because, of course, the camera wasn't on and he wasn't taking any pictures. Maybe he was ribbing me, I don't know, but he's doing a good job of pantomiming it if he is. That was a flub, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember what the spot was supposed to be, but like I said before, we could cover it. I just gave him a clothesline. The most basic move. There it is. That's probably what we were going for. Kick him up, kick him down, facebuster. My X-Pac homage. Always a good spot going into the babyface comeback. I'm not sure. I think we're using it as a hope spot here. Yeah, because he's gonna... Oh, wait, no, I hit the enziguri. A lot of times with me and Mike, he would duck the first enziguri. He might have already done it and I just was babbling and didn't notice. So this is definitely the babyface comeback. There's my Barry Windham homage, the flying lariat. I used that for 20 years. I used that one from the beginning to the end of my career. I say career and I kind of cringe every time I say it. I never made a lot of money in pro wrestling. I always had to have a real job. That's why I don't ever say I retired. I kind of quit the business. To me, retiring kind of suggests that you had enough money to retire. I always tell people that I was never successful at pro wrestling. I thought I got pretty good at it, and I enjoyed it. Oh, here comes the finish. We called this one Jacob's Ladder. It's a octopus stretch on the match, and that's going to be the finish for this one. Mike Jacobs gets the submission. What a dastardly heel. The next match is going to be from Monroeville, Alabama, a place I knew very well, at an old dilapidated building. So let's go ahead and get into that one. Oh wait, I forgot. There's a little bit of gaga at the end here. The lighting person didn't know that was going to happen, so the lighting got all weird. There's the lightning strike super kick. Had to get my heat back. All right, on to the next one. And here we are in that old Monroeville Coliseum, Monroeville, Alabama. I knew it well. I wrestled Ron Starr, Rotten Ron Starr, in that building long before I had any business being in the ring with anybody the caliber of Rotten Ron Starr. It's funny because we kind of do a spot in this match, and I didn't even realize it at the time, but it's one of the spots that Ron Starr and I did in that same building many, many years before this. There's a boot. Looks like we're just jump starting and going right into it. You can do that when you're young. This match was Supreme American Wrestling. I can't remember the name of the promoter, but I know he was part of a group of fans who went to Robert Gibson's events for All Pro Wrestling and sat ringside. They called themselves the Heelmen, and they cheered for all the heels. And one of them just, I guess, wanted to try his hand at promoting. This is the only event that I know of they ever did. Maybe the only one that I was on. As Mike gives me the boots and cuts me off real quick here. Little back and forth action. But this is the babyface shine, so I'm going to come out on top. There's the spinning heel kick. I like that duck the elbow spinning heel kick with the continuous rotation. That building was like a old, it might have been condemned, I don't know. There were ceiling tiles missing out of it, broken windows. I don't know if anybody knew people were running shows there. It never drew big crowds, you know, it was always just enough people to run a show. This one's got a few more people than a lot of the ones that I was on in the early days, when I would drive to Monroeville for $20. Mike was just so good. I can't say it enough. I hate that spot right there where you slingshot a guy in from the rope, because it wouldn't happen. It's unrealistic, but at the time I don't know why I didn't pick up on it. I mean, it's smooth, it looks good, it's aesthetically pleasing. I guess I'm just kind of a stickler now for stuff like that. Mike would actually go on to promote and run some shows of his own in the Fort Walton area for All American Pro Wrestling was the name of his company, and he's actually responsible for the biggest payoff I ever got at a wrestling show, and tie for the second biggest payoff that I ever got at a wrestling show. He was always really good to me in that aspect. I imagine that's just because, you know, I helped train him and broke him in, and we had really good chemistry together. He told me recently that his wife told him that he thought he and I had the best matches of anybody, and that was a great compliment, so thank her for that one. Speaking of wives, Danny Rowland's ex-wife, wife at the time, is actually recording this match, so thanks to her. And again, breaking the momentum here. Mike taking his time there. Locking up once again. Gonna exchange some holds here. I imagine I'm gonna come out on top. Oh, a little kip up going into the Mahi straw cradle spot. People always get on to like Bret Hart and Ric Flair, guys that have like go-to spots that they do in every match, but if you really pay attention, we all do that. You stick to the things that you're good at, and when two guys have a rapport and they know what each other are gonna do, it makes the match smoother. Having signature moves, I think the fans enjoy looking out for them and seeing them coming. Oh, here's the cutoff. Big power slam. And now we're into the heat, just like that. And there I am feeding to the ropes again. There's some of that selling nobody does anymore. Mike was just a natural heel. He actually, during the PWA run, the Pensacola Wrestling Alliance, he did a masked gimmick similar to like the Patriot called American Made. You can catch a couple of those matches on my YouTube channel as well. Okay, here we go. This was a spot that he and I did a lot. The trusty body scissors, and he would alternate between going for the pin and picking me up and dropping me down. And if you listen closely, you'll hear the camera lady with a little commentary. Trying to throw some bows there and get out of the hold. Nice little pinning combination. I think I'm telling him to rake my eyes because I don't have any real way to get out of that hole. At least not that I know of. Oh, here comes a sweet backbreaker. Just great execution all around by Mike. That is a lot of empty seats, boy, let me tell you. Hard to draw in Monroeville. I never liked that, the whole, hey referee, check this or that over there. It kind of makes the referee look bad, in my opinion. Gotta be more imaginative. There's the duck of the enziguri. Or the thunderclap, as I called it. Branding, folks, you have to name everything. Extreme close-up here. It's always nice when the person who's running my camera does a good job. She did a good job with this one. The worst is when you set up a camera and it's just a still cam and then somebody will just stand in front of it. I've cussed out people from 20 years ago as I've been uploading some of these matches to my YouTube channel. Some of them I just can't use. It's a shame. So if you're at a wrestling event, just don't stand in front of somebody's camera. Ooh, Indian Deathlock. There's a rarity. That's a good one. Really cinching it in there. It's so strange how you just have so much chemistry with some guys, and then there's other guys who are good wrestlers. And I can't think of any off the top of my head. I don't know if I would name them if I did, but some guys you just have chemistry with, and some guys you just don't. Consummate pro working the leg here. trying to think off the top of my head how many Mike Jacobs matches I have. I think it's 6 or 7, and that's just the ones that are recorded. There's kick 'em up, kick 'em down. We kind of use that as a double down going into the babyface comeback. Telling him to catch the foot there. There's the thunderclap. Showing a little fire there like a good southern babyface should. There's one of my signature Lightning Kid spots. Me awkwardly positioning in there for the frog splash. I think my success with the frog splash was about 50-50. Sometimes it would look really good and sometimes it would just be awful. That was one of the decent ones in my opinion. And there, I would like to say that pulling the arm guard, whatever you would call those gauntlet gimmicks. Oh, there's a good cutoff. Must be going into the finish. Pulling those things off, I'd like to say it's my Jerry Lawler pulling the strap down, but in reality, they would just, especially on that white and black outfit, they would slip a lot, so I would just have to, I would get fed up with them and take them off. But yeah, I think we're going into we're going to do a false finish right here where I miss into the turnbuckle and he puts his feet on the ropes and we have the referee catch him, which is always good to see. You take a normal finish, turn it on its ear, and here we go into the actual finish. The lightning strike super kick, and that's it, folks. And on to the next one. I don't know why I spit on him. That's not babyface material. Alright, folks, this match is from Wool Market, Mississippi. And we're getting right into the action. This was a really, really good crowd. This was a World Wrestling Alliance, which was kind of, I think, positioned as like a, there's a nice little spot. I think I stole that spot from a student, actually, who didn't stick around for very long. Bobby Doll berated me for that. You stole a spot from a student? But yeah, this was in Wool Market, Mississippi. The World Wrestling Alliance, I think it was positioned as like a parent company of the PWA. I think it was run by Miss Passion and Bobby Doll together. I'm not sure who else was in on that. But I only had a couple of shows with them. Oh, here we go. Little correction in midair there on the plancha to the floor. And I am just shining like the sun here. Always great ring positioning with me and Mike. Oh, and there's the old Miss Crossbody cutoff. This move Mike Jacobs did right there, that double axe handle, that's how I blew my ACL out in 2001. Oh, hard into the guardrail. And this another one of those matches that has live commentary during the actual match over the PA system. And I talked about that ad nauseum last time, so I'll shut up about it. I don't know if he's retired now. Mike was actually a police officer throughout his wrestling career. His stuff just looks so good to me. Let me know down in the comments if you agree. Look at that backbreaker. Nice and snug. Good execution. We got an appearance here in the referee spot by little Steve Cheatham, Chad Cheatham's little brother. Shout out to him. I believe I've got the match with he and Chad from PWA elsewhere on my channel as well if you want to check that out. Those knee drops were just perfectly placed. Good old Mike taking it a little easy there on me on the old knife edge chops. There's a short drop kick to the back. I thought he was going to hit me with the old Mr. Perfect rolling neck snap, but he changed it up on me. There's that 360-degree power slam that the announcer Tom Verrett there called a power bomb. I like Tom though. He was a good ring announcer. Kick him up, kick him down, baby. You see what I mean about using the same spots, but we're in different towns. These aren't for TV, so it's completely different people seeing them every time. There's the thunderclap, nicely executed. We're getting into the big babyface comeback. Get a bunch of near falls. My drop down elbow spot, got to get all my shit in. Alright, let's see how this frog splash is. Not too bad. My old tag team partner Justin Cruz used to give me all kinds of hell about my frog splash. And, moved a little early there, but it's a blind move, so I'm facing away from him, so I'll go ahead and use that as an excuse. He wanted to make sure to get out of the way of that one, though. And we're about to go home, if I'm not mistaken. Little screw job finish. Going to a sunset flip, and he's going to sit down and hold the ropes. But I hope you enjoyed this, folks. Let me know down in the comments if you do. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode.